So, I've been getting a bunch of comments about how I don't have a favorites video up yet. And honestly, there were a couple reasons for that. Because the first reason is that, honestly, I didn't own a lot of my favorites. Because I either traded them in like a dummy, I had got them from the library, so I didn't own them, I borrowed them from a friend, or something like that, so I didn't actually physically own them. But now I do. I own a lot of my favorites, like 40 books. 40 books that I've read and that I've loved. So it was very hard to pick my top 10 because I have so many that I've read and that I love. And so let's just dive right in. And it's going to be numbered 10 to 1. And as I get further to the number 1, that's my favorite of all time, which it just recently changed. So you will see. The number 10 spot. Actually, before I dive in, I just wanted to tell you that doing this, I've seen my reading, and I have young adult, middle grade, romance, true crime, suspensey, and just touching. So my reading genres and habits are definitely varied. And I think that that's pretty good, though. So, now, let's dive right in with number 10 being a middle grade book called Hatchet by Gary Paulson. Yes! So, if you've never read this, it's a Newbery Honor book. But if you've never read this, it's about Brian, who was traveling on a plane to go visit his dad, I believe. He's like 13, and his parents got divorced, so they live in like different parts of the world now. And he was over the ocean when his plane crashed, and he was the only survivor. So it's like Lost, but with only one teenage kid. And I just love this book. It's been a few years since I've read it, to be honest, but I'm pretty sure it's going to remain one of my favorites. Okay, and this next one I haven't read in a very long time as well, but Montana Sky by Nora Roberts. And this is such a good Nora Roberts book because yeah, it's got your love like you would expect, but it's got suspense. It starts with tragedy bringing these sisters together, so it's got sisterhood. It's just jam-packed with stuff. So, from sisters coming together to crime spree happening and wondering who the person is that's shooting people, to the love, I mean, this one is just amazing. And I would love to reread all these books. Well, most of these books soon. I've read a couple of them recently. The next one, okay, don't get mad. I haven't read this in so long that I don't fully remember the synopsis, and I know that there's some twists and turns that I loved when I read it, but it's been so long that I don't remember the twists and turns, so I definitely need to read this one again. But it's Chill Factor by Sandra Brown, and all I remember is there's this woman in a cabin in the mountains, and she's driving in the snow when she comes upon this man who looks like he needs help. So she takes him back to the cabin to live out the storm together, but she soon realizes that she starts thinking that he's the man that is murdering and kidnapping women in the area, and she soon gets scared. So this is a 5-star book. It's amazing. If you like suspenseful page turners that will keep you guessing till the end, definitely recommend Chill Factor. Alright, this one is one that I actually just finished. I've been reading on it since January, the beginning, because it was so hard to read. It's definitely a crybaby book. But Dear Nobody, The True Diary of Mary Rose. So, Mary Rose has been abused and hurt her entire life, and she's a teenager, and she turns to drugs and alcohol, and she starts going down the wrong path in life, and then she gets sick, and there is so much drama, and I loved it. And see, it's such an easy read because, I mean, it's not an easy read. Let me just say, it's an easy read because it's like Dear Nobody, and then it's like a little diary entry, and that's what they all are. But it's not an easy read because of the material in here. There's definitely trigger warnings for everything. Abuse, suicide, alcoholism, drug addiction, everything. There's definitely trigger warnings. But I loved it because it made me cry so bad. And I would recommend. This one is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jesse Andrews. And this is also a movie. So if you've never read this or watched the movie, it follows a few teenagers who become friends in the most unlikely situation, and it's just about their friendship, and it's really sad, and I think that's why I absolutely adore this book. You know, you kind of get it from the title, Me and Earl and the Dying Girl, so you already know what's gonna happen, you know, and so it's very sad. The next one is actually the first true crime novel that I can remember reading. So it's Helter Skelter, The True Story of the Manson Murders by Vincent Bologhi with Kurt Gentry. And look it's a monster. It's a huge monster. I remember, I think this took me like 3 months to read the whole thing the first time I read it. And I would love to dive back into this world. It is crazy, and Charles Manson is psycho, and I still don't understand how someone could do that. You know, he brainwashed so many people, and he killed so many, and then you get like the pictures, and it's just, I mean, if you watch my channel, you know I love true crime, and this was the first true crime book I ever read, so that might be why I love it so much. But if you like true crime, definitely do read Helter Skelter. I also actually just picked up some new true crime books when I was looking for that. You know, my guilty pleasure, but it's okay. Then we're at the top 4, which was so hard to put into order. And I actually think that I'm going to change the order right now. Oh man, though. Okay, so this used to be my favorite book of all time. And I still love this book. It still holds true in my heart. And I don't think I will ever not love it, but Where the Red Fern Grows by Wilson Rawls. So this is a historical fiction kind of book where this boy wants hunting coons, but he grows up in the Great Depression, so his family can't afford to buy them for him. So he earns his own money for like 2 years, and then he buys 2 of his own, and he walks to the nearest town, which was like, I feel like is a pretty long walk. It was like 2 hours one way. And he picked up the dogs and he took them home and he trained them and hunted with them. And it's a middle grade book, but it is so good. And I think I've reread this book the most out of all my books, but I will continue to reread this book forever. Alright, down and dirty, top 3. So, this one was very hard for me, and I really thought this next one was going to be my favorite of all time book. It came really close, though. It's number 3, and it's amazing. So, The Shape of Family by Shippy Simone Gouda, and I always say her name wrong, and I'm so sorry. But this is an arc. This book doesn't come out until March, but I finished reading it, and it completely wrecked my soul. It's about grief and a family moving past grief and moving on with life after a huge tragedy just disrupts their entire life. And it was a 5 out of 5 stars, and I think that I'm definitely going to be reading more of this author. Oh my god. I urge you in March to pick this book up. It's just, it is one of the best. And then, my last 2 are kind of in the same category because they deal with the same kind of issue. So it was very hard to pick which one I liked more. And honestly, it came down to writing style. So for the first one, or for number 2, not the first one, number 2, A Walk to Remember by Nicholas Sparks. So this is an amazing book about this nerdy girl who is a teenager in high school, and she has cancer. But this is a great love story, cancer patient, bucket list type story, and Nicholas Sparks is once again amazing. I love his writing, and the books of his are better than the movies. So, if you only pick up one book, either let it be this one or my next choice, because it's just this unforgettable love story between the nerdy, goody two-shoes girl and the bad boy. And usually that doesn't work for me, but her love for him changes him, and through her cancer, he helps her accomplish her bucket list, and it's just so moving. And a drum roll for number 1. There we go. Drum roll, please. The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. So yet again, you follow Hazel Grace, who has cancer. And her life is nothing but watching TV and being depressed that she's going to die. Until her mom makes her go to a cancer support group where she meets Augustus Waters. And the rest is history. You know, it's John Green. It's a love story. But it's more than that. It's about friendship and finding yourself when you think you're gonna die. And it's the worst tragedy, but it's flawless and it's amazing. And John Green has a way with words, and oh my god, I just love it so. Well, thanks for coming by and learning about my top 10 books of all time. So I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about me, my reading habits, and my favorites, you know? I mean, my favorite books say a lot about me. I think they say a lot about everybody that reads. So, thanks for stopping by, and catch you in my next video. Bye!